shot up. That is in for the win. Have room to run. Also gets the champion. Toronto both there. Henry is long running down. Walnut Grove basketball is good. And we got Tom Bildner joining us here, looking back at that replay here before we continue here. The basket is good. Jackson Burns on the foul. Coach Bildner, how are things going here?
Well, it was kind of exciting game. We got off the good first quarter, and the girls hung in there, and we got the W.
What really made the game was the run. I think it was 21-2, I believe, at one point there, and really that's just a hard gap to overcome right there when that happens, especially early in the ball game.
When that happens to any team, it's a tough go. We shot pretty well that first quarter, and the second, third, and fourth quarter, we were kind of like average shooting, but we did what we needed to do to hang on and get the win.
A little bit of a stalemate there, kind of in the second and third. They, I believe, outscored you until the fourth at one point. That 19-point difference really does help in the long run.
Right. Sometimes basketball does come in big runs, and sometimes the runs are, what puts you over the top. And again, that first quarter was a great run for us, and girls shot real well. And like I said, we got a big lead and hung on to it.
Tom Bildner, former coach, for all of you who don't know, the Waynesville Tigers had a district championship or two under his belt, and I believe there's 5 fingers held up there, but also one of his, manager for you there for a while there, and learned a lot about basketball and things.
Yeah, Allen Hilliard here with manager for us for 4 years, and maybe he developed some of his computer skills how to do this, because when he was our manager, he did a little bit of everything, stats, video, basically anything we ever needed Allen could handle.
Back then, the video was more drive 50 miles, trade a videotape to someone, and
right, after not coaching for the last 12 years, huddle's a shock to me. I'll be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure out how to use the darn thing, but I'll figure it out. But it makes it real easy for scouting a lot of nights, even though I'm still old school and like to go in person if I can.
And then, of course, down there, I don't know if you noticed, but Waynesville now leading 12-5 over Ava in the second quarter now. That is the video now, a lot easier to find video tape on teams.
Yes, it's way easier with Huddle, and you don't have to do stats anymore, because if you get a Huddle assist, they figure out the stats for you the next day.
A lot of technology has come a long way and made things better, especially on the watch like on MSHSAA TV. You can watch probably 30 basketball games right now across Missouri, and football championships also going on tonight, which I haven't been keeping track of too much. Try to get to those. So Coach Bildner, next week, what is the plan after the tournament?
We play, I believe, next Thursday against St. Elizabeth at home, so it'll be our first home game. And I'm sure the girls are really looking forward to that.
Lakeway here, big run for these kids. We'll play. Take a quick break here. We'll be back with Coach Bildner for a little more here after these commercials. And back here, second quarter action, 3-point ball game. Crocker on top. Adam Newton picked up his 1,000th point there during the first quarter. And back with Tom Bildner here. You've been out of coaching for, it's been a few years now. Kind of any changes that you've seen besides technology throughout the game?
Right, it's kind of funny because I'm currently 60, so I did not coach at all in my 50s. So it's been 12 years since I've actually coached, and the game hadn't changed. you still have to dribble it, pass it, catch it, and shoot it and guard it. And if you do those 5 things well, you got a chance to win some basketball games. But other than the 5 foul rule where you're shooting 2 free throws, the game hadn't changed. It's the same thing.
And that's a really new rule here that we've had that has caused a little bit of confusion at first, but it seems to have sped up things a little bit. We've been on schedule pretty much this whole tournament, where I'm sure you've been at some tournaments where things were not very on schedule.
All right. Yep. Sometimes they, due to overtimes or whatever might happen, and free throws, a lot of timeouts, sometimes tournaments get way behind. But this seems to be run real smooth. This is a real exciting thing to be part of because, start out the year with a tournament, all the conference teams, everybody gets excited about basketball. Everybody gets to look at each other and kind of, from the coach's standpoint, figure out where you're standing at and what you need to improve on, and how to counter some of the defenses and offenses the other teams are going to do to you.
Now, coming from Lanesville, were we part of the Ozark Conference?
Yes.
Back then?
Yeah.
But coming from them, kind of going to here, kind of what's the difference that you've seen going from, a class of bigger schools compared to everyone within this area here, 30
Yeah, those big schools, they have better weight rooms. The kids are bigger, faster, and stronger. And obviously, it's the first time I ever coached girls, even though I had 2 daughters, and my youngest daughter was a pretty good player, so I got to coach her a little bit when she was younger. But I'm trying to teach the girls how to play the game of basketball, and I'm treating her like basketball players. I told them day one, hey guys, you're not really girls to me, you're basketball players, and we got to learn how to play the game the correct way.
And then she's kind of dabbled a little bit in coaching there, I noticed, coming out of college.
Yeah, Callie's an assistant to the head coach in volleyball and basketball at Orchard Farm High School, which is in St. Charles County. So she actually, hangs out with a lot of her old college friends from Lindenwood University.
Lindenwood, they've gone Division I, so since she was there, their competition has really changed.
Yes,
Ohio Valley, I believe, is where they're
I think that's right. And from the girls' side, I think they told me that they still haven't won a game yet. So, there's going to be growing pains when you jump from Division II to Division I basketball. I think this is their second year, and you have to get the players and the talent to compete at that level.
One thing with Lindenwood, their facilities are really top-notch.
Yes.
For what they were originally Division II there.
Right. They have really good facilities: basketball, football, baseball field. They have a lot of sports teams. And the last count, it was like 40-something different sports teams. So, if you're good at something, it seems like you can find something to play at Lindenwood. Skeet shooting, ping pong, you name it, they got it. Equestrian.
So you'll be back here. You'll actually play in less than 12 hours again.
Yeah, less than 12 hours. We'll be back here, and
noon, I believe.
I'll get up in the morning and kind of put a Scott of Play-Doh, I guess, twice now. So I'll put a little game plan together and try to get the girls to understand it in about 30 minutes shoot around, and come here and play and see what happens.
I'm sure you'll be able to provide plenty of videos for my catalog of videos that I'm sure you found so far.
Yeah, they've really helped me on the tournament because I went back through and I watched some games. I watched them today, and Huddle in itself altogether is amazing to me. But it seems like every coach that asks us if we want to share video, we just share it with them. We don't share the stat part, we just share the video. Hopefully everybody else will return the favor.
So now the big question here with being from this area here, what do you think of the nice new conference divisions going on with the bigger schools creating kind of the SEC of football essentially for basketball?
That new COC conference it's just going to be a powerhouse in basketball, football. It's going to be tough. You might have a very good team and come out and not win very many games just because A lot of those teams have great tradition.
The toughest thing with that is looking at, for example, Lebanon's schedule. And they didn't have a super easy schedule, but now they start with Webb City, Joplin. They've got, I believe, Nipsa, Carthage mixed in there. They did not go with the easy route on schedule.
No, it's gonna be brutal. Those teams in all sports, they're gonna have to be ready to play every single night, and it's gonna be tough.
I believe Central was not part of the COC when you joined originally. They were not. They joined, I think, right after. I believe they joined back into it, or the Ozark Conference. But the Ozark Conference at the time, pretty competitive basketball-wise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Ozark Conference was tough and just kind of mind-boggling for me that it's gone. And COC's just kind of taken over the whole area, and it's going to be tough.
Kind of absorbed really everything once a few teams shifted and made some people think, hey, we could join better and create our own thing, which, time will tell a couple of years from now what'll happen with all that.
It's also, look at football-wise, the Camdenton-Lebanon game last several years have been big rivalry game. Now that's gone.
The rivalry there, Rolla, Waynesville, every year since 1959, there's no game scheduled in a foreseen future now.
Right.
Kind of similar to what Missouri and Kansas, when Missouri left the Big 12, and I think they've played them once since then, maybe twice.
Yeah, I think so. I think we play Kansas this year, don't we? In basketball, doesn't Mizzou?
Yep. They started back in basketball, and they created I think they played them once in football, but they've got a schedule coming up here.
And it comes to Division I basketball, I found it quite interesting last year that now that basically all schools can pay their players, the parity was so much closer that the teams that we would always consider powerhouses, some of them weren't quite as good as they used to be because, in my eyes, now everybody can probably do what they were getting by with it at the first place.
Well, looking back at the, just looking at examples you had years ago, Nebraska, Colorado were powerhouses in football, and
Nebraska in football was a powerhouse, and back in that day era, he was one of the first big coaches that really emphasized weightlifting, and he kind of really got Tom Osborne. He really got the weightlifting thing going in all sports, basically, but for sure football. And they were a lot bigger and stronger than everybody else before everybody else caught on. Like, ooh, we have to lift weights also.
But now, though, you're looking at, Georgia, pretty much, they're kind of the standard of teams at the moment here. And Alabama, even though they're not probably going to make the playoffs this year, but still, they still may be one of the top teams in the country.
Right. But getting back to the weight room situation, now there's some high schools that probably have weight rooms just as good or better than a lot of Division I schools had 40, 50 years ago before the weightlifting really took over.
And another thing, since you've been kind of on break there, IMG Academy and Link Academy, these really private groups have created their own private high schools basically that are basically basketball programs.
Right.
That's something that, they don't compete in state playoffs, but they create these national kind of recruiting classes.
Yep.
All right, Coach Bildner, it's been great talking to you here.
Thank you, Allen. Maybe I'll catch you some other time.
Yep, we'll see you tomorrow at some point.
Yeah, like you said, less than 12 hours, basically.
Yep, let's say I've got one more game, and I'll be back up and get back to work. Peace. See you later. That is Tom Bildner, the Crocker Lady Lions basketball coach. Shot up, that is in, Murray's the win! Room to run. Henry.